Hello, welcome to this video. Now this video is pretty straightforward. We're going to be talking to you about why QuickBooks Online is far better than Xero, and it's not really even a competition. Now there's a few things we're going to look at to make sure that we warrant this, but this basic video has been requested a few times and I kind of feel like it's really straightforward. There are so many reasons why QuickBooks Online is better than Xero. I could make a 2-hour video if I want to, but we're not. We're going to keep this down to a very nice and compact video. And I'm going to tell you straight away why you should be using QuickBooks Online over Xero. Roll the beat in. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live 8:30 AM every single Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now, this video is kind of a follow-on to a very popular video I did where I watched a fellow content creator go and explain why Xero is best software overall. And as you can see from that video, and I'll link it around however we do that, yeah, you can tell that actually that person wasn't quite 100% right. And in fact, they were saying how great Xero was. And at every step, I was able to kind of debunk those theories. So we're not going to go down the same route as that one. We're going to go and have a look at it from a different point of view. And the first point of view that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at what's available now. Because you see, QuickBooks Online versus Xero is an ongoing debate. And actually, the fact that Xero exists and QuickBooks exists is a great thing because each one of them are bringing new features and bringing new features and bringing new features and bringing new features. And we get what's called feature parity between them. And innovation drives both of those pieces of software. And what you'll end up doing is having a better experience for everyone. So we love the fact that there is these two competing juggernauts going out for our crown, and overall means that us as the end users are going to be better used for it. But there's certain bits that Xero does that realistically we don't understand as QuickBooks users. Biggest example I will always come up with is the ability just to do a simple bank reconciliation. Now, we get the logic. Xero says that if you're going to connect your bank to Xero, how could it go wrong, right? How the hell can we have anything wrong with the data that's coming through? It's coming through from the bank. Unfortunately, that's not quite how the life works because we can have data coming from the bank and we know from past experiences that anything could go wrong there. The data could fall off or the bank could be incorrect or whatever it's going to be. We need that little comfort blanket of a reconciliation, and for me, that's always the step that I go on to. Why does Xero not really give us an option to properly reconcile our bank accounts? Why don't give us a reconciliation option to give us confidence in the data that we have? QuickBooks does, and QuickBooks does a fantastic way of reconciling to the point that if you have reconciled a bank account, not only is it really automated and super straightforward, but if you make any changes whatsoever to that bank, you will then find out that it's so much simpler going forward because it's going to tell you every change you've made, when you changed it, why you've changed it, and make it really easy for you to have confidence on the data going forward. And it's all about confidence, right? We're throwing data at these software systems. We want to know that we're confident that that data is correct. And a simple bank reconciliation really shouldn't be that much to ask for. If we're looking at also what the software does now, then the software now is so much better on the run and working remotely and using the app on QuickBooks. QuickBooks has designed a completely bespoke app for QuickBooks Online, and in my opinion, it is so much better to use than the Xero version. Now, in fairness to Xero, there are some features over on the Xero app that QuickBooks doesn't quite have, but QuickBooks itself just has a whole way of being able to use the app designed for mobile use. For example, you can grab your mobile phone, you can take a photo of a transaction, and that transaction will automatically be populated in QuickBooks itself using what's called OCR technology, which basically means it's going to read that receipt for you. We've done loads of videos of that on this channel. There's loads of content on how that works and why that works. And the fact is, it's just built directly in the app. I don't need to install a third party. I don't need to install anything else. All I need to do is have QuickBooks on my phone, take a little photo, and I know then that that data is going to flow directly into QuickBooks Online. Super simple. And that's the sort of thing that just makes sense, right? It makes things super easy for us to use. And it just gives us that opportunity to get the most out of it. Another reason why QuickBooks is just so much better than Xero is their app ecosystem. Take a look at this. If I want to go to QuickBooks apps, I go www.apps.com. That's right, www.apps.com. QuickBooks own that domain, and that domain takes us straight to our apps ecosystem within QuickBooks Online. Give me a whole page where I can search for all these different apps and all these different connections that can make and break the way that you actually use QuickBooks with your company. There's endless opportunities for you to get different solutions to QuickBooks Online to elevate the way that you're using QuickBooks. And it becomes so much powerful when you can just go to apps.com like this, find the category, maybe it's get paid, maybe it's commission management, and find ways in which you can make it super, super simple. Figure out the featured apps and make sure that you're making the most out of them that's there. Look at trending apps and see if they're the ones that could be working for you. There's just so many opportunities there that it really does make it super easy. And speaking of apps, the other thing that QuickBooks has in its arsenal is its ecosystem. QuickBooks is actually owned by Intuit, and the full name is Intuit QuickBooks. And if you look what Intuit owns, well, they own MailChimp as for a start. They have the opportunity to have QuickBooks Time, there's QuickBooks Commerce, there's all manner of different opportunities and ecosystems there. And that really gives you a sense of where QuickBooks is going and where that's going to go in the future, which is very, very different to what's happening in the world of Xero. We can't do a comparison video without talking about support. From a support point of view, QuickBooks absolutely wins this one down, hands down. It has the only opportunity out of the two of them to actually call up a person and talk to them. There's live chats available. In the Xero land, you have to send an email in, wait for that email to respond. There's no live chats, there's no conversation at all. Support isn't as good on the Xero side as on the Quick side. Everybody knows that. The training from QuickBooks is by far more superior as well. You've got whole certification, multiple certifications as well, and they're relevant certification as well. We've got core, we've got advanced. We're going to make sure that people who are using QuickBooks mostly gets the certification that they need. And not only is all that support available from QuickBooks, but the support from everywhere else as well. If I type the word into QuickBooks into YouTube, you'll notice that we're coming up with lots and lots of different people here who are providing different types of content, including obviously myself as well. And if I go to myself, there is 411 videos at the time of recording now, all dedicated to the world of QuickBooks. If I went in and did Xero, I'm not seeing that sort of one apart from Xero themselves. There's a couple of people bringing information in here. Here's that video I talked about where I actually did an element to which one is better. Yeah, unfortunately, you just don't get the same amount of content. There is definitely no Xero equivalent of this channel or any of the other channels out there from QuickBooks. It just doesn't have that level of support going forward. And finally, the big reason why QuickBooks is so much better than Xero is just looking at the future. QuickBooks has a roadmap that is absolutely stacked out with new features, new functionality. How do I know that? Well, I'm a member of the Accounting Council, which basically means that I have an opportunity to go in under NDA, not allowed to tell everyone out there in public, but I get to see what the roadmap looks like. And I can promise you from the heart that the roadmap is looking absolutely stacked. Certain bits that I wasn't even aware of was coming into QuickBooks Online, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait to talk about it here on this very channel. But the reason that QuickBooks has that opportunity is because it's got so many other parts in its ecosystem that is just generating more and more revenue and capital expenditure so they can throw development teams into it. When you think about what's actually been built in the last 12 months or so and released or been announced from QuickBooks, we've got a whole accounts production software. We've got a whole practice management solution. We've got a whole payroll solution as well. All of these different elements, all of these different cogs, building a whole ecosystem that we can be proud of here in QuickBooks world. And unfortunately, when it comes to Xero, their future roadmap looks nothing like that. And if you look at it, QuickBooks has started to push forward in both ways. They're looking with QuickBooks Advanced at those bigger businesses, And they have a lot more coming in the roadmap that relates to those smaller businesses as well, including an update to QuickBooks Self-Employed, which none of us saw coming. Now, if we've got all of those wonderful updates coming and the fact that QuickBooks is looking at both ends of the spectrum, that's a positive outlook on what we can expect to see from our software going forward. Unfortunately, in the world of Xero, they're just not having that. Their big focus lately has been what's called Xero Go, which is the bottom end of the Xero software. And they kind of built this hybrid solution that is free but not free. And we've reviewed it on the channel. And ultimately, it's a way of making sure that they can go in for the Making Tax Digital type clients, which sounds great, but isn't really what Xero users are crying for. What they want is starting to look at supporting those bigger clients for them. And again, in that roadmap, there's not much opportunities there. And unfortunately, if you look at the news and you follow us on our podcast, Ask the Accountant, we've talked a lot about how the recent redundancies at Xero is only going to hurt the amount of innovation and the amount of support and the amount of features that are going to come going forward. And that's a huge shame because, again, at the beginning here, one of the best things that we have at the moment, QuickBooks and Xero fighting it out. Unfortunately, though, if you look at what's happening in the news, what's looking likely going to be from a future point of view, then Xero's kind of going to stay stagnant over here, while QuickBooks is just going to keep adding on extra features and functionality going forward. It's a shame to say, but that's the truth. And there we have it. That is why I believe that there is so much more looking forward to in the world of QuickBooks Online versus Xero. I do believe that QuickBooks itself has so many more features come in and so many more solutions come in that it's just going to make it and empower us as accountants and business advisors, and it's going to give the clients that we use more tools to be able to go out there and do even better business going forward. And in Xero's world, they're not quite going to be able to compete on that sort of level. And it's a real shame because, again, innovation drives it, and we would love to see more innovations from more solutions. So maybe this is an opportunity for the likes of Sage or Free Agent or one of those other solutions to come through and become the next biggest challenger to what I believe is by far the best bookkeeping software on the planet. That's right, QuickBooks Online. And if you want more information about QuickBooks Online, then you're already in the right place, because all you need to do is follow this particular channel, Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Chat, where we make sure each and every week we have a video relating to QuickBooks Online. Again, nothing in the Xero world is doing anywhere near that. My name is Aaron Patrick. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this video for you. Please let me know below, what else does QuickBooks do that's so much better than Xero? Or tell me I'm wrong. Tell me what Xero's doing that QuickBooks isn't, and why it's an absolute game changer. Because this video is all about making sure that everybody knows why QuickBooks Online is so much better than Xero. My name's been Aaron Patrick. This video has been a pleasure to do for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.